Okay, guys, sorry, I tested positive for COVID, so I have to do isolation for 1 week. But I'm all right. I'm feeling much better today, so that I think I better uh, try to make a video for you guys for your study, and I hope you can use my video to go on with our trigonometry graph, which we have learned a little bit last week and also in year 10. So I will just go through the PowerPoint with you and you can just get the answers onto your handouts. Okay. During the video, um, I might ask the teacher to pause the video and so you can spend some time on your own work. Then I will show the answer anyway. Alright, so I will try to make this video about only 25 minutes, but there will be time you need to we need to pause the video so you can um, do the work by yourself. Is that okay? Right, so let's start it. So trigonometry graphs, there are two types, sine graph or cosine graph, and there are 4 parameters. I use 4 different colors to represent the 4 letters A, B, C, and D. All right, so we all know that D means middle axis. We normally will call it Y equals D because it's a horizontal line which cut the graphs into 2 halves. Amplitude normally is A. Okay, amplitude must be positive number. So for example, if A is -5, that means there's a reflection and also a dilation away from x-axis by 5 times. So the amplitude should be 5 instead of -5. All right, period, it must be 2 power b. In year 10 extension, we use 360 degree divided by b, but right now in methods, we need to use 2 pi rather than 360 degree divided by b. And all right, and also horizontal shift, which is c units to the left. Okay, so and on that table, which should be quite easy for most of you, so I will go through it pretty quickly. We spend more time on the actual exam type questions. Okay, for the first one, y equal 2 sine 3x. Okay, obviously that's a positive sine graph. And how about the horizontal middle axis? Okay, so you need to find, is that letter D? Okay, no, there's no such number there. So you would say the middle axis still on x-axis, which is y equals 0. Okay, amplitude. Okay, what should be the amplitude? That should be the number in front of the sine function, which is 2. And this is a positive number, so you just say amplitude is 2. Period, so which is uh, related to the number in front of x, so it should be 2 power 3. All right, so the number in front of it is 3, so that means letter B is 3, and the period should be 2 power 3. Any horizontal shift, any green number, like any number added to x? No, so it's no horizontal shift. Okay, the second one. Okay, obviously there's a minus cosine. Middle axis, no origin letter again. So it's y equals 0. Amplitude, this time, that's just a negative sign in front of cosine. That means the amplitude should be 1 rather than -1 because the amplitude must be always positive. Period should be using the number in front of x, which is half. So period should be 2 power that number, which is number b, which is half, and so p equals to 2 pi over b. 2 pi over half is 4 pi. And horizontal shift, in this time, that's minus pi over 6. Okay, if you take away pi over 6 from x, that means you shift the graph to the right by pi over 6, right? So pi over 6 units to the right. Okay, minus 1/3 sine x minus 2, that's negative sine graph, horizontal middle axis, and you can see that's minus 2 there. All right, so y equals minus 2. Amplitude, okay, not minus 1/3, must be 1/3. Okay, period, okay, no number, that's no number in front of x, that means 1. So b is 1, 2 pi over 1 is still 1. And horizontal shift, no. All right, the last one, okay, and positive sign, horizontal middle axis, y equals 1.5. Amplitude must be 3. Period, the number in front of x is 2, so 2 pi over 2, which is pi. And the tricky thing is about horizontal shift, that's pi plus 6, but you should take 2 out of the bracket, so it should be x plus 3, because you need to find out what number is added to x rather than to 2x. So 2 has to be taken out of bracket, so it becomes 2 times bracket x plus 3. So the actual number added to x is 3, and 3 means 3 units to the left. Okay, the last two questions is more about how can we rewrite the equation for the given condition. So it's plus cosine, and that's no middle axis, and amplitude is half, p equals 3 pi. All right, and so of course there's a few work you need to do, and okay, I will give you some time to try to do it. Okay. Okay, can we please pause the video? I'm not going to pause the video here, but can we pause the video? Okay, in the classroom. Thank you. Okay, so the answer should be 1/2 cosine 2/3 times x minus 2. I think the most difficult part for some of you is to get that 2/3 in front of x. Okay, so imagine you need to find b such that 2 pi over b equals 3 pi. Okay, and then you multiply b to the sine of 2 pi, sorry, to the sine of 3 pi, and the 2 pi divided by 3 pi become 2/3. All right, and the next one, so another, please pause the video for another 3 minutes. Okay, so this one is just minus 4 sine pi bracket x plus 1 plus 3. All right, I hope you're okay. So if you need some time to discuss, or some students you still feel confused, you can discuss with. So I think there are a few guys who should be okay because they are doing specialist maths. Okay, you can help others if you want. Okay, so otherwise we just move on. Okay, so let's try to do this question. And first you need to find the amplitude and period of the following trigonometry graphs, and then you determine the rules. Okay, obviously, if you want to determine the rules, you need to find all four numbers. That means A, B, C, and D. Okay, so first of all, what would be the amplitude and period? To find the amplitude, first of all, you need to find the middle axis. Can you draw a line to cut a horizontal line to cut the graph into 2 halves of equal length? Okay, so remember that middle line must be horizontal, and it must cut the graph into two halves with equal length. All right. So how can we find the middle line? So you can see the highest point is 2 and the lowest point is -4 in terms of y coordinates. So the horizontal middle line can be 2 plus -4 divided by 2, which is -1. All right. Then you can draw the line here. So you draw the middle line. Then you can find the amplitude. Amplitude means the distance between the highest point to the middle line or the lowest point to the middle line. Okay, so that middle line is y equals -1. So amplitude is obviously you can use. Okay, so that's that. So the way here I try to use the highest point divide minus the lowest point and divide by 2, which is 3. Okay, but you can do it another way, like you can just from the highest point to the middle line, you can see how high it is. Should be 3 units. Okay, and okay, so how about the period? So the period, I need to draw that green arrow, which means the minimum distance, the trigonometry graph repeats itself. So how long is it? So it seems like it's 1 pi. Okay, so the period is 1 pi. All right, good. So from part A, we've already got horizontal middle line, amplitude 3, period pi. Okay, for B, how can we determine the graph? First of all, it must be a cosine graph. How can we know it must be a cosine graph? Okay, so if you start from the highest point, it's a positive cosine graph. If you start from 0 and you go up, then it's a positive sine graph. If you start with the lowest points, negative cosine. And all right, so obviously this is a positive cosine graph. And for the positive cosine graph, so you still need to find A, B, C, and D. Okay, so first of all, this is a positive cosine graph, so that means A must be positive, and we've already known that amplitude is 3. So A is 3. Okay, so and the next number, okay, I will indicate how can you get this 3. The next number you want to get B. B is 2 pi of a period because period equal 2 pi of a B, so that means B equal 2 pi of a period. And period, we found that is pi, so 2 pi of a pi is 2. All right, so is there any horizontal shift? No. All right, so C just 0, no horizontal shift. Okay, so where is the middle line? Y is -1, so D equals -1. So put everything together, you got the answer. Is that okay? That's not very difficult, isn't it? Okay, and all right, so let's go to another one. Okay, so anytime if you want us to stop the video, you can copy or you can go back. You can ask the teacher to help you. Thanks. All right, this example is again the same question, but I give you another graph. All right, so again, you need to find the amplitude and period first and then determine the rules. All right, so this time I think I should give you some time to work by yourself and then you try to check the answer with my video. All right, can we just have can we pause the video right now by 3 minutes and give you guys some time to work the answer for part A. Thank you. 3 minutes. Pause. All right, so let's go back. So again, horizontal middle line, you find the highest point and the lowest point, which is from 1 to 5. So the horizontal middle line, 5 point plus 1 over 2, which is 3. And okay, so y is 3. And okay, how about the amplitude? So you can quite obviously see that the amplitude should be just 2, right? Well, you can use the highest point minus lowest point divided by 2. So that's 2. And also the period, okay, which should be 4 pi this time. All right, so you need to track for obviously the numbers on the x-axis. All right, so that's the answers you need for part A. So let's think about part B. Okay, for part B, how can we determine the rules for the graph? Okay, first of all, you need to think what kind of graph it is. It starts with from the middle axis. Okay, it starts from the middle axis and it goes down. Okay, so first of all, it can't be any cosine graph, because cosine graph must start at the highest point or the lowest point. Depends on whether it's positive cosine or negative cosine. So it must be sine graph. But there are two types of sine graph. One is positive sine, the other is negative sine. So for this one, it starts from the middle line and it goes down. So it looks like negative sine. So this is negative sine graph. Okay, so what will be the A value? Because the amplitude is 2. Okay, but A value must be negative this time. So we will say the negative is minus 2 this time. And the B value, okay. So B value, you got 4 pi there. So period is 4 pi. So B value should be using 2 pi over period. So it should be half. Okay. And C, of course, has no horizontal shifts again. And D equals 3. All right. Is that okay? Right. And I think I've covered 2 questions, and I think you should be okay trying to do the rest. And then we can show the answers in the PowerPoint to you, if that's okay, right? And okay, so just a couple remarks I would like to give you before I finish the video, okay? Okay, please try the example 5, example 6, and also, but not example 7. Not example 7 and not example 8, because I don't think we really need to know how to do the horizontal shifts. We don't have time to finish all these examples. I would like you to focus on the questions without horizontal shifts. So no example 7 and 8. And also try to do some practice on practice 4, and also okay, and also there's a couple more questions here for you to sketch the image. All right, and that's it. Okay, so I hope you can finish the work for today. Thanks for watching the video, and thanks for the teacher's help to post the video, and also if some students can help to help others who hasn't understood the content. I really appreciate that. All right, so see you next lesson. Thank you.